Now, of course, Gravedigger was our top qualifier, as we're going to look back and see some of the guys qualifying earlier this evening, such as the Texas Stomper.
Texas Stomper out of the Lone Star State, one of the short wheelbase vehicles, does not run the national tour with us, but could be a contender in the 89-point chase. Looky here, the name's familiar, the Chi-Town Hustler, Richard. He's going to be on tour with us, an awesome vehicle out of the state of Florida.
That is Kevin Dabney, and last year he drove a vehicle by the name of the Alien. Also here tonight is the modern-day Outlaw, driven by Buster Guffey.
Buster, not an attack driver. He's just trying to get through this qualifying session, setting up the first round eliminations.
An attack driver, would that be like an attack dog?
One who just flat goes for broke. Speaking of attack drivers, look who's back into the starting line now, Richard.
That's going to be Dennis Anderson and Gravedigger. First round competition coming your way straight ahead on Power Tracks.
If it's power you're looking for, here it comes. ESPN and TNT Motorsports presents Turning the Power On. 60 minutes of American.
Round one competition. And once again, Army, we have got a great following of monster truck fans on hand.
Well, we're glad to have all the people with us in our first stop in the state of Mississippi, Richard. Gulf Coast action coming your way. All the big guns are here, and the qualifying's over, and look who wound up on top.
Dennis Anderson out of Chesapeake, Virginia. The Gravedigger was our top qualifier tonight. Right now, let's run down the pairings. It'll be Stomper and Marvin Smith against Mad Dog. Bigfoot takes on Texas Stomper. Then we're going to see Wild Hare taking on Buster Guffey, the modern-day Outlaw. Follow that with Carolina Crusher, Gary Porter against Clydesdale and Bennett Clark. Chi-Town Hustler Kevin Dabney facing the defending national champion, USA 1, and Ron Litzow. And in his bye-run, Dennis Anderson is going to take her nice and easy.
You know, Richard, you can't blame him. He's had a rough year this year trying to turn his luck around. Does qualify quick. Now he's going to the next round of elimination.
And I know you're ready. The crowd is ready. Let's go side-by-side racing. This will be our first door-to-door matchup of the night. It is Larry Garvell and Texas Stomper. He is out of Victoria, Texas, qualified at 6.23 seconds. He is running a Chevrolet, but look who he draws. Big, bad Andy Brass Bigfoot, the Ford from St. Louis.
Well, Larry definitely has his work cut out for him. There's a lot of things that you can actually see the difference in the philosophy of building these trucks. I want you to look at the wheelbase of Bigfoot. Look at the height of it. Now look at the same two stats on the Chevrolet that'll be working at left lane. Bigfoot, much longer, much taller, and much quicker in this round of eliminations. He will advance.
Easy win for Andy Brass and Bigfoot, knocking off Larry Garvell and the Texas Stomper. So the Chevrolet will take it back to the Lone Star State. Bigfoot, he'll move on into the quarterfinals. Coming out next, rough and rugged Bob Breen out of Jefferson City, Missouri, the Wild Hare Chevrolet, and he is taking on a newcomer to us, the modern-day Outlaw. That is Buster Guffey. He is out of Griffithville, Arkansas. It's a Chevrolet with a 468 cubic inch Chevy engine.
Well, Bob Breen and his brother, they're kind of unique. They're two brothers that actually run an open competition with each other. They've teamed up with Lunati Camshafts on a research and development program, and it is definitely working as Breen with the Wild Hare will advance.
It is an easy win for Bob Breen. The Wild Hare Chevrolet is going to move on into the quarterfinals of competition. We're going to move on trackside. Army's got your winner.
Hey, Bob, they love you in Biloxi, Mississippi. For a stock motor, you're running awfully good out there.
Oh, it's running good tonight. I'm real proud of that old motor. It's been a good one. We've had it in 3 different trucks.
Well, the horsepower didn't seem to be a whole lot of problem with you. The left lane looked to work good for you, and you're moving on to the next round now. It looks like you're going to draw Bigfoot. Does that bother you?
No, not really. I've run him several times. He's got a lot more motor, but I'll make him earn it.
Usually when you see Bob Breen, he's got his cowboy hat on. Not tonight, though. Getting ready next for Gary Porter, the Carolina Crusher Chevrolet from Wadesboro, North Carolina, but he is facing a dandy. I call it the pretty in pink machine. He doesn't like that too much because he's a rough and rugged guy. Bennett Clark out of Powder Springs, Georgia, the Clydesdale Chevy.
Chevrolet side by side. Both of them, they call them 89 Chevrolets. Bennett Clark's is a stretch wheelbase. He'll be on the far side of the camera. But look at Porter with a real fat motor. A lot of fuel through the motor, but it still works for him.
It is a win by Gary Porter, Carolina Crusher, as he has knocked off Bennett Clark and Clydesdale. So in that Chevrolet matchup, it is the yellow one of Porter that is coming out on top this time.
Well, Gary Porter with a Carolina Crusher. You're advancing to the next round in a real tough field of monster trucks.
It is a lot of stiff competition coming up.
Who are you going to draw in the next? Well, you'll draw the winner of the next race, which will be USA 1 and the Chi-Town Hustler. You're going to have your work cut out for you.
I definitely will. I don't know which one it'll be, but I'll definitely have my work cut out for me.
I'll tell you what, this circuit, Army, is getting so rough. Anytime a guy goes out there, he has got his work cut out for him. As here comes the defending national champion, Rod Litzow, USA 1 Chevrolet, up against Kevin Dampney out of Odessa, Florida, the Chi-Town Hustler. Looky here, we've got us a Dodge.
Richard, I tell you what, anybody that grew up in the 60s and follows motorsports, the name Chi-Town Hustler strikes fear in your heart. We're glad to have him on the tour, but tonight, the USA 1 puts him on the trailer early.
Yes, sirree. The Dodge falls to the Chevrolet. Chi-Town Hustler is going to motor back to the pits. Rod Litzow, the defending Renegades champion, takes another win.
Rod, real quick, it's going to be a quick interview because we just saw you broke a front drive shaft in the vehicle. You got to fix that before you get back in the action.
Yeah, we're going to have to get back in the pit area and put it back together. We got the parts out there, so we'll have time to do it.
How did the truck feel on that run?
It felt okay, but probably when it landed, you know, under power like that, she just locked up and took the front out.
We'll let you and Bill get back in the pits. Good luck.
Thank you.
So that's kind of unique. We've got a same old guys keep coming back. The Carolina Crusher is going to be here. The Gravedigger, USA 1. Stay tuned. There's more on the way. Believe me, the war is still to come.
Marvin Smith, the winner. I thought for a second that Mad Dog and John Breen had him, but not to be, as Marvin Smith is going to move on to the quarterfinals. But get this, so is John Breen and Mad Dog, because he was a fast loser, as Dennis Anderson getting ready to come out next to take on his first quarterfinal round competition. Army, I know earlier today you talked with Dennis about the awesome engine he's got in Gravedigger.
During a recent interview with all the top monster truck drivers in the country, the one truck they all said really they were afraid of was the Gravedigger of Dennis Anderson's. One of the reasons being the awesome horsepower that you're generating with this truck, Dennis. Can you tell us a little bit about the horsepower that's in the truck right now?
Yeah, well, right now I've got a 2,000 horsepower Rodak engine, and a Rodak is an all-aluminum motor, and it's got a set of aluminum backman heads on it. I run a 1271 blower. Everybody else on the circuit runs an 871. I'm putting a lot of boost in the motor, so I get a lot of power out of it.
But that's all about the change. New rules, no horsepower engine like you're going to have now. You're going to have to adjust, really going to have to go down on your horsepower to a smaller engine. So what will be that change? Which way are you going to go now?
Well, I'll go back to a steel block engine because that's what they want us to run, is something that the factory makes, and we have to run water through the motor. And this motor is a solid billet motor and doesn't have any water jackets in it. But really, I don't think it's going to hurt because this motor is strong, but all the power in the world doesn't do any good if you can't use it. And it's not a very consistent motor as far as keeping the drivetrain together. So it might help me out by going to a smaller motor. I feel like I could drive the truck better and more consistent with it if I drop down 1,000 horsepower.
Okay, now we're talking about the motor, but really the motor hasn't been the problem. The horsepower the motor generates is the problem because it's causing other pieces to break, such as?
Yeah, well, I like the transmission, you know, because you take 2,000 horsepower and start jerking a 12,000-pound truck around with it, it's almost impossible to make a transmission work.
Well, let's see if Dennis Anderson continues his good luck tonight in Biloxi, Mississippi. We are in the quarterfinal round of action now, and it's John Breen, Mad Dog Chevy, up against the awesome Gravedigger of Dennis Anderson.
You know, Richard, it's amazing. Everywhere we go, one of the most popular trucks has to be that one right there. The kids love the red lights of the Gravedigger. However, John Breen will not be intimidated. He's going to make him go for it. Again, the question I'm going to ask you, we talked about it at the opening of the show. Is this the night that Gravedigger turns his luck around? And it's looking awfully good. Looky here.
He walked it down the track. Dennis Anderson, the winner in Gravedigger. Whoa, boy, he has got to be happy with that run. This is the first time in a long time that he has made it to the semifinals.
We might be looking at a classic case of somebody that's in the process of turning his luck around. Dennis, you're going to the semis. It's been a while.
Yeah, it has. We've had some problems with the new truck, keeping transmissions in it. With geared down, we've about got it ironed out. We're trying a different gear. It seems to be working, and I think we're going to hang in there.
Dennis, how come your truck had the tendency to go nose over like that? Everybody else is getting their front end. You're exactly opposite of everybody else. Where they're going up, you're going down, and vice versa. Why is that?
Yeah, it's because when I'm powering into the cars, I'm doing a wheelie. I'll carry the front wheels all the way to the cars, and the cars trip the rear wheels and kick the back end up in the air.
That doesn't feel kind of scary?
Yeah, it is. It's real scary. That's why I wish we had more running distance in between the first dirt hill and the cars. Then maybe my front end would plane off and get down on the ground, and I could do an even jump.
Okay, well, we'll be keeping an eye on you in the semifinals. Good luck.
All right, thank you.
I'll tell you what, Army, I kind of like the way the track's set up. I like that being scared every now and then.
Well, I'll tell you, he'll thrill you in a heartbeat, won't he?
Coming out next is got to be Gary Porter, Carolina Crusher Chevrolet, taking on a dandy and Bob Brain, the Wild Hair Chevrolet. This ought to be a pretty even matchup.
Well, both of them being Chevrolet, but keep in mind, Porter does have a supercharged engine. Bream is running basically a stock 454 cubic inch single 4-barrel engine, so the horsepower advantage would go to the yellow truck. However, Bream's not afraid of it. He said if he's going to get past me, he's going to have to fight to do it. And look at Bream, he leads with him, Richard. Horsepower took over, yeah.
It was close. Bob Brain almost pulled off the upset. Not to be, though. Gary Porter, Carolina Crusher, gets the win, and he is going to move on into the semifinals. We're going to move on into our next side-by-side quarterfinal matchup. And here he comes, your defending national champion. We call him the rowdy one. It's Rod Litzow, USA 1 Chevrolet. That, of course, is owned by a very good friend of ours, Everett Jasmer, out of Spring Lake Park, Minnesota. And he's taken on a new great truck. This is Clydesdale, a 1989 Chevrolet driven by Bennett Clark. Bennett out of Powder Springs, Georgia.
Clark is one of the strongest running independents on the circuit. He finances his whole operation out of his pocket with the help of a local four-wheel drive center. On the other side of the track is a very well-run, high-tech operation of Everett Jasmer's put together, teaming up with True Value Hardware, Gladsworth Paint Chevrolet, to put that Chevrolet in the #1 spot. Clark, again, he will not be intimidated. He says, you're #1. That's right now. Let's see what's going to happen. Here they go. Oh, Richard Leak, look at that lead.
He got him a whole shot, and it carried on down the track. Rod Litzow is going to move to the semifinals. Bennett Clark is going to say adios to the people in Mississippi for the night. We're going to move trackside.
This Biloxi Monster Truck show is turning into a war. We told everybody that's what it's going to be, and you guys keep working your way back to the top. Is everything going okay for you?
Yeah, it went good out there. We had the parts we needed, put it back together right away. We're back in the race and ready to run.
Is everything okay on the truck now? You didn't break anything in that round?
Nope, looks good right now.
Okay, we'll let you get back. See you in the next round.
Thank you.
Well, when we come back with more quarterfinal action, we are going to see the original monster truck Bigfoot. He is going to face one of the premier Chevrolets, Stomper. That's coming up straight ahead on Power Tracks. But one more quarterfinal matchup to go. It'll be the classic Ford Chevrolet matchup. Bigfoot the Ford going up against Stomper the Chevrolet.
Well, Bigfoot's going to be representing the Ford fans in the crowd, and believe me, there's a bunch of them here in South Mississippi. However, Starvin' Marvin Smith will be bringing the Chevrolet people to their feet. It's going to be a good side-by-side run. Keep an eye on Andy Brass. He's awfully smooth out of his lane this evening.
You know, Bob Chandler's Bigfoot operation, the original monster truck, they have been dominating on the circuit for a long time. One of the reasons, they have made the sport a very high-tech sport, not only inside the truck, but also outside the truck. And Army, earlier today, you spent time with a very important person on their crew.
What you're looking at, believe it or not, is one of the most important pieces of speed equipment. Yeah, speed equipment on the Bigfoot team. Looks like a camera. It is a video camera, but this camera plays a very, very important part of the success of this team. Standing with me right now is Ralph Kuhn, who is responsible for running this particular video camera. And Ralph, can you tell us a little bit about it and what your responsibilities are with the Bigfoot team?
Sure. I travel along with the crew, not every weekend, but most of the time there's a couple of us back in the shop where we take turns going out with the truck. And my main responsibility during an event is to shoot the truck and also the competitors' trucks. And what we'll do after the race is we'll go back into the camper there and review how our truck's doing and how the other guys are doing so that we can do a better job.
Okay, now in the sport of drag racing are in the computers, and the sport of circle track racing are in the computers, but they're basically doing the same thing over and over again. A computer won't give you the information you need for these monster trucks because they're running on flat ground or turning corners or jumping in the air. So you got to go back to the video to actually look at what the truck's doing.
It's true. I mean, you know, Andy and George, the crew members here with Bigfoot this weekend, they're able to, just by watching the truck, to tell what's wrong, adjust the air pressure, maybe shift at a different time, that sort of thing. We also run a camera inside the cab, Army, and we use that to see what Andy's going through during the run. We can see the gauges and when he's shifting during the course and how he's holding up, and also what's going on inside the cab.
Now there you see Ralph Kuhn. He is ready with the camera. Hopefully, Army to get a victory shot of Bigfoot as he is going up against Marvin Smith, the Stomper Chevrolet. Remember now, the winner moves on to the semifinals. The loser moves out on the beach.
Well, we told the people they were going to see a war before the night's over. This is what it's all about. This is going to be a skirmish to see who's going to advance. Chevrolet versus Ford, and Bigfoot once again. Andy Brass dominates. Whoa! Marvin Smith really skied to Chevrolet, but Brass will move on.
Starvin, Marvin Smith just put on a show. Guys, if we could, let's get a replay of that as Starvin, Marvin came off the line, and right there, Army, what happened?
Well, the front end settled right when he was starting over the cars. That kicked the front end up, and then it started bouncing all type of gyrations. Some good heads-up driving by the Chevrolet driver.
All right, so Stomper, the loser. The winner was Bigfoot. Andy Brass once again gets the win.
Andy, you're moving up to another round, but we noticed you do have Dennis Anderson in the next round. Does that bother you at all?
Yeah, Dennis is going to be tough competition. He's been running real low times all night tonight. He's #1 qualifier, so he's going to be kind of tough to run against.
Okay, now, if he goes to the left lane, and that's where he's been running all night long, that's not going to bother you. That'll keep you in the right lane where you like to run. You kind of built a nest over there you're pretty comfortable with, so it could be a real tight race.
Yeah, it could be. You know, like I say, Dennis will probably take the left lane because that's the one he favors. And I kind of figured that that's what he'd be doing, so I've been staying in the right lane and trying to get used to it.
Andy, can you beat Dennis Anderson tonight?
We're going to try.
Tell you what, Army, I'm a little bit surprised. There he is, Andy Brass, a Bigfoot driver, as we're getting ready for semifinal competition. But Andy, you would think, would have all the confidence in the world, but he only says he's going to try to win. Whoa, wait a minute. I just saw sparks underneath the Gravedigger.
Yeah, the Gravedigger coming in. He might have a little bit of a problem. You're talking about Brass a moment ago. He does have a lot of confidence, but he also knows what the potential is of this truck. Everybody's been wondering, when will Anderson get it dialed in? This could be the night in Mississippi, Richard.
But Dennis, of course, is out of Chesapeake, Virginia. His wife, Julie, travels the circuit with us, along with his little boy, Adam. And you know, Adam is a real big fan of monster trucks. He loves the Gravedigger, but he also loves Bigfoot.
You know, I can't think of a little boy in America that doesn't love monster trucks, Richard.
So here we go, semifinal. The winner, remember, is going to the championship. Will it be the Ford Bigfoot with Andy Brass or the awesome Gravedigger and Dennis Anderson? Army, what do you think?
Richard, there's a lot of respect out there right now. Andy Brass, I'll guarantee you, knows Anderson can nail him to the wall on a good run. On the other side, Anderson knows that Brass has the potential to win this thing, too. This could be the best run of the night. The winner here could wind up winning this whole thing.
You never told me who you thought would win. As we get ready for the green, there we go.
Okay, Richard, I'll take the Gravedigger.
You named a winner, Army.
Haven't lost all year long. That was a good run. Some good driving out of that left lane.
Dennis Anderson and Gravedigger has done it. He has got to be tickled. This is the first time in 1989 that he has moved to the championship round, and he did it right there, Army.
Boy, driving the same way. The front end settles. The back end on this truck kicks out.
So Dennis Anderson has finally done it. He's moving to the championship as he has just knocked off Bigfoot and Andy Brass. Let's go to Army.
Dennis Anderson, been a long time coming, son, but it looks like you're going into the finals here.
Yeah, we're going to do it tonight.
When you came in the building, were you aware that something was really sparking on the back of the truck? It looked like an electrical spark. Were you aware of any problems like that?
No, I wasn't.
You might want to check when you go back outside. When you gassed it, right when you came in the building, a little bit of white sparks came out. Well, the question at hand, can you beat the next guy out to be the winner?
If I can keep it in my lane and throttle down, I've got him all the way.
Is there anything you want to say to the folks about the Gravedigger?
Yeah, just remember, the Gravedigger's going to get you one day.
Well, we're going to find out if the Gravedigger gets his first championship of 1989. But when we come back, it is USA 1 taking on Carolina Crusher. More action straight ahead on Power Tracks.
For reaching deep, for going long, for digging in when things go wrong, for pushing hard in all you do, that extra yard, for coming
for the taste so crisp and clean, so refreshing. It's the king of beers.
This bus for you.
A few words on reading for success.
Things are happening so fast right now that the business magazines are history. I need relevant information every day.
Today's Wall Street Journal. Faster, tougher, smarter. Call 800-372-3000 for this special Journal offer. 12 weeks, just $29.75 with a money-back guarantee. Call 800-372...
We are about to find out who is going to face the Gravedigger in the finals. It'll either be the yellow Chevy, Carolina Crusher and Gary Porter, or the white national champion Chevy, Rod Litzow, USA 1. I think I read her lips, Army, and she said, go Chevy.
Go Chevy. It's going to be an all-Chevy final. We're down to 3. One Chevrolet's going into the final. It's a 1950. Now we've got 289s going after each other. Who's it going to be? Litzow comes back to go in the final.
Rod Litzow, the winner in USA 1, but get this time, Army. Litzow won at 5.13 seconds to 5.16 seconds for Gary Porter. What a close race.
Well, Richard, as we travel around the country, that's what you expect when you go to a TNT Motorsports event.
And now we are ready to crown the king of monster truck racing in Biloxi. It'll either be the Gravedigger, Dennis Anderson, the most powerful monster truck in the world, or the defending Renegades TNT National Champion, Rod Litzow.
Well, everybody keeps talking about the Gravedigger and his power. Granted, he has it. But believe me, Litzow and Ever Jasmer, they're not hurting for horsepower. They know what they have to do to take a win. The pressure, I believe, is going to be on the Gravedigger. First time this year he's been in a final. We're watching for a green light. Back to you for the call, Richard Lee.
I'm going to call a win by the Gravedigger. He has been wanting this for a long time as we are staged, set, ready to rock and roll. That is Al Goss, the starter. He has given them the signal. Get ready. Here we go. The green light is out. Oh, no.
Problems on the start line. USA 1 will advance for the win. And the Gremlins caught up with the Gravedigger in Mississippi. A tough break for Anderson, Richard.
Dennis Anderson, the lights came out, and he sat there. The engine died. I don't know what the problem is, but Rod Litzow has won this championship.
Do you have any idea what happened to Anderson on that starting line?
I think, you know, in the last run like this, we pushed it all the way. He might have came off the hole hard and blew his tranny on that, what I heard. He might have blew the tranny out of the hole, and I seen him out of the corner of my eye. It didn't go, so I knew I had an easy win.
How's it feel to be back in the winner's circle?
I love it.
You know, you guys, when you won that championship, you went through kind of a dry spell. You had some problems with you flipping the truck, but everybody stayed together, and you're going back on top.
Yeah, that's what we're trying. It's all teamwork in there, and everybody worked together, and everything works.
So we had kind of a good news, bad news night in Biloxi, Mississippi for Dennis Anderson. Good news, he makes it to the finals. Bad news, he breaks down again. Congratulations to our winner, Rod Litzow in USA 1. For Army Armstrong, I'm Richard Leake. We'll see you again on the tracks across America.
Join us next time for Power Tracks, the most powerful sport on earth. Brought to you by TNT Motorsports, the nation's leader in pulling and monster truck racing.